everybody, and welcome to the High Performance Garden Show. We are on week 21. I hope you all tuned in for last week's episode on testing your compost. If you've not seen it, it's listed on the website and you can go watch it at any time that you want to. So just go back to the website that you're seeing this and you can click on the last episode. So I had a really great trip and I really enjoyed my family. It was so much fun reconnecting and seeing how all the little ones have grown. It was great to get away from the farm and see some of the rest of the country, but it was also great to get back to the farm. I love it here. It is so magical here. As we drove the back roads of our heartland, I made it a habit to see how many houses had gardens. I was surprised to see that most houses only had grass and trees, and very few flowers and even fewer vegetable gardens. But just think, just a couple generations ago, every home would have had a vegetable garden. While we were at my brother's, we went to see an Amish farm that was near my brother's house, and I asked him why he thought there were no gardens in people's yards anymore. And his reply was, "We don't have to garden. The stores provide all the food that we need." And I thought to myself, how sad that people are missing out on the very best food possible, the joy of creation, and the satisfaction of providing for themselves and their family. They're giving over their freedom to corporate America. So when the grocery store is optional like it is for us, I control my food source and my destiny. So I hope you are seeing how easy and rewarding a garden can be and are starting your garden or planning your garden for next season. It only takes 15 minutes a day to start to make the grocery store optional. So I hope you'll choose that path and get started on your way. So this garden right now is in full summer production. So I'm going to get started and we're going to see what's going on here. So where we're going to start, right here in the tomatoes. They haven't been clipped in 2 weeks. And so I'm kind of looking at the height of what we got going on. But first I think I'd like to harvest. Got a lot of these little cherry guys going on. Actually, I think they're called grape tomatoes. And I want to get harvested before I lean and lower the plants. Okay, here's our tomato harvest for today. It's actually quite heavy. That's really going to be delicious. So I'm excited for that. We'll set that down and then I think we'll desucker next. So I want to look at the plants from top to bottom. I noticed a big one right here. Oh, that was bad. Okay, somebody's not awake this morning. This was actually the top of my plant, and this guy was the sucker. So this is going to happen to you too once in a while. So if I'd have been a little more awake, I would have seen that this is the fruit cluster was attached to this stem, which told me this was the top and this was the sucker. So now this is the new top and this is garbage. So, okay, there you have it. We're going to move this plant and it's going to be just fine because the sucker is strong and it'll fruit. I just get mad at myself sometimes when I do that. Okay, wow, this plant's really heavy, and I'm standing on the string. Okay, so we're going to take this down. Okay, got to take it down this way. Move it over to this side as we continue our rotation. I'm going to lower that down like that. And I think it's going to sit like that all week. Okay, there's one plant. Now we're going to come back to one of these grape tomatoes. And we'll take this one down. This is the one thing about the grape tomatoes that is a little frustrating is the strings get tangled in them. You have to be a little careful with them. This is going to go over this bar, and the string is tangled again. They're not my favorite tomatoes to grow, but that's what we were given this year, so That's what we're gonna grow. Okay, and I need another clip. Okay, we're gonna clip that there. We're still a little on the tall side. I think I'll go ahead and pass this other guy. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna detangle again. Cut this down. We're going to lay this a little bit flatter on the ground. And we are going to go around this other plant. So if you're doing this and it's early morning and it's cold, you want to be just a little careful because the plants can snap. All right, a couple more clips. The cherry tomatoes always grow faster than the regular tomatoes, so these may be doing laps around the regular tomatoes. Okay, so we are clipped. Let's de-sucker. Okay. Then if you take a look at here, we're coming at an angle. We can go ahead and trim off some of these lower leaves. And these plants will they'll just kind of make, kind of looks like ropes. We'll just have just the bottom stems just going around the bottom. And as soon as the fruit is done, let's see, this has got a couple more on it. As soon as this is done, then I can take off the stem that holds the fruit too. And we'll take off a few more leaves from this other plant. Just so we don't have a pile of stuff at the bottom. Okay, continuing. So we're going to bring that guy around this way. I got to get a little height here. Okay, which one's the top? One with the fruit, that guy. So that one comes off. Yes, made the right choice. Okay, so this plant, and lay it down sideways. I think we will go ahead and come clear to the front with it. Okay, as I'm clipping and messing with these plants, I'm looking for bugs, abnormal color, anything that could be going awry. These seem to look pretty good right now. Okay, so this plant's on top of our shigaiku, so I'm going to see if I can push that over. And there's a big sucker down here too. Okay, that guy's laying down pretty good. We got a little bit of height. Oh, there's an aphid. What are you doing here? A couple of them there. Let's check the other leaves. Oh, looking all right. Okay, we're going to go back and get the back one. This is one of our big red tomatoes. We're going to look for suckers. Okay, that one's got the fruit, so this is the sucker. And that's a sucker. Okay, looks pretty good. I'm going to take a few of these leaves off the bottom. And we got a sucker down here too, tangled in the tomatoes. I try not to have my tomato clusters laying in the soil, so you can take them very gently, very tangled on a leaf, and you can set them up on the stem, or you can actually take a clip and you can clip them to the string if you want to. So there's a couple ways to keep your tomatoes up out of the soil. Oh, looky there, a weed. There's actually 3 weeds, oh my goodness. Need to get some more mulch. Okay, back to the top. I got some beautiful clusters hanging here. Okay. Unclip this one. And we're going to move it too. It's really heavy. There's a lot of fruit on this one. It probably is carrying 15 pounds of fruit right now. Okay, I think that's a good spot. Clip that there. Okay, next. It's kind of fun with 5. In the big greenhouse we have, there's 45 in a row. And we have like, no, 5 rows, so it takes a while to get through them in the other greenhouse. Oops, come here. Okay, clip this. I want to take off a few more leaves at the bottom, just so that we get good airflow. Plants don't need these leaves anymore. Okay, the last one. This is our sucker plant that we saved. And I noticed something really weird looking going on here. Let me pull off one of these fruits and I'll show you. There is, oh, tangled in a string. There's something that's bored a hole right in my tomato, and it's pooped all over the side. And it's affected all 4 of the tomatoes in this cluster. So I'm going to take a look and see what is inside here, because I want to know what's going on. Never seen this before, even after 30 years of gardening. It's always something new. Ooh. Oh, looky there. It's a worm. See there? I kind of cut him a little bit. So, something has laid eggs on the plant. Eggs hatched, and the worms have crawled inside the tomato plant, or inside the tomato. So, what I need to do is investigate what it possibly could be. Because it's a worm, my guess is that the BT or the spinosad will take care of it. I think there's another one here. I'd like to get in there without cutting it though. No, I think it's just the other end of the one that I had. Gross. Okay. So we got something to investigate to see what kind of worms actually like to bore inside of tomatoes and eat them. So we're going to do a couple things today. We're going to go ahead and eliminate the tomatoes that have worms in them. And then I'm going to observe the plant, and if I see this happening again, then we'll go ahead and get the BT spray that we're spraying on the cabbage and stuff, and we'll just spray the tomato plants weekly. But for right now, we're just going to try to eliminate them by picking them off. Okay. So we will lose a cluster of fruit, but I think the fruit is already damaged enough that, see, that's in that one, and in this one, and in this one. Oops, where are you going? Now I want to make sure that these get out into the garbage or into the chickens. I don't really want those in the compost in case that worm decides to continue to grow. So we'll make sure we get rid of those. Other than that, I think this plant looks all right. We lost a cluster of fruit, but that's okay. Big sucker on this one. This is the top because it's got fruit on it. So we'll take that out. And there's another sucker here. That's one thing about missing a week is, you're going to have some little more maintenance, but that's fine. We can handle it. Okay. Get the clips where I can reach them. And we're going to take this guy and go around to the other side with it. So get our string. Take our plant down. Okay, lean gently. Okay, let's check the bottom. Probably take a few leaves off down here. Okay, there we go. I think we are. What is this? Yep, everything looks good. All the tomatoes are moved. I can move this grape tomato over just a little bit now. Okay, tomato section is done. I think we'll move on down to the cabbage. Okay, we are here in the next section, and the first thing I want to do is to harvest the shigaiku. It looks like it was going nuts. I don't think it was harvested last week, which is just fine. But it's wanting to bloom, and we can eat all these flower stalks. They'll be delicious. Gives us a different mineral blend in our diet and some unique flavors for our food. And I can't believe they're still going. They're doing such a great job. But to trim them up will be helpful. Okay, so first what I'm doing is taking the very tender stalks that I want to eat. Take them off first, and then I think we're going to give things a haircut here. They're getting a little tall. Man, there's a lot of food here. Just goes on and on and on and on. What a great garden. Okay, that's pretty good on this side. A couple more flowers here. Okay, now we're just going to take this guy back. What I'm doing is just cutting about 6 inches off. I'll give that to the chickens. It's a little tough to eat. There's a few good ones here though. So what I'm looking for here is just some control over the growth. Kind of keeping the shigaiku off the top of the cabbage. And you'll see, it'll be back next week. In tender pieces. Okay. That's trimmed up pretty good there. And then I have a couple of these little cabbage heads. You know, we've been letting them grow. And there's our second crop of cabbage. They're not near as big as the first ones, but they're good and firm, and those will be very tasty. And so I'm going to get a couple of these. It'll probably take 3 or 4 of these to make a meal. And I'm kind of thinking about changing out this section. We got, let's see, we're on week 21. So we got a lot of weeks left to go to the end of the season. And I think we could crop out some turnips again. Well, we're ready for turnips again at our house. So maybe next week we'll go ahead and pull these out and pop in some turnips and have a fresh crop in here. That's the beauty of the garden, is you can change your mind, you can change your crops. There's nothing set in stone, so we can just switch it around. Okay, coming around to the other side. Oh, the other thing I want to do on this side is some of these bigger leaves. The older leaves are getting kind of yucky looking. So just to keep the garden looking good, I just want to pull those out. Okay, on this side we want to do the same thing again. Let's harvest what we want off the shigaiku. Get these nice tender tips off of here. Even this guy back in here. This would be a fun green to share with your friends this week. Give you something new to talk about and something new for them to taste. Because there's going to be plenty of this week. Okay, I think that's all we need to do for the cabbage. Shigaiku. Let me trim that one down a little bit. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Remember, we fed everything a couple weeks ago, so don't need to do that. So I think we'll go ahead and move on down to the cucumbers. We don't have to move very far, do we? Oh my gosh, these things are taking off. This is more what I expected from my cucumber plants. One of the first things that I'm noticing, besides the gigantic cucumbers, is what do these leaves look like? Everything, we got good dark green. We're starting to get a little more size than we did. If you compare that one to this one, we got a lot more size on the leaves. The spotting is going away. It's gone. There's some spotting on these leaves gone here. So in my opinion, spider mite is under control. I'm going to keep my eye on this thing, but the predators have done their job. Cucumbers recovering and starting to make cucumbers like mad. So what we really need to do to avoid ginormous cucumbers is to harvest twice a week. So what we're wanting to do is to come in here midweek and get some of the cucumbers off. Now, one of the things we can do with the really big cucumbers is we can make some relish with them. And so we may make a batch of relish, because we got, look at this guy. I got a few really big ones coming on. This one is more of our normal size that we want. And when I was in here, oh yeah, they've been starting to grow on top of the carrots. So the cucumbers are just going to go up, and then they're going to just come on back down. And we're not going to lean and lower them. They're just going to kind of make their own little jungle right here. And these will just keep producing until the weather gets cold. They don't like the cold nights. And we'll see that as we get towards the end of the garden season. But for today, they're very happy. Okay, any more hidden cucumbers? Oh, there's a spider web. There's a little guy back here. Looks to be good for next week. I do have a vine going backwards on top of the carrots. Come here, vine. I think what I'll do is go ahead and get a few clips, and we'll just clip this vine up as well. Hang on. Let me find my clips. There we go. I'm just going to clip him to the same string that this other one is on. I could get out a new string, put him on his own string, but that's all right. Okay, up and over the top. And I see another cucumber. I love these things so much. Oh, I have to tell you another story. On the road, we were headed home. I didn't make it to the store, and we didn't have any food. We happened to pull into this gas station, and there's this gal setting up her vegetable stand, and I'm like, yes, some vegetables. So I went over and I talked to her, and she grows the exact same cucumber that we grow here, and I was able to buy 2 of those from her and some zucchini, and that's what we ate most of the day on the way home, and it was fantastic. People that never eat from the farm stand or from their gardens, they just don't know what real food tastes like. This stuff was awesome. So I really enjoyed that, and it was fun to talk with her too. Okay, cucumbers look good. Anything else need a clip? Do you need a clip? Yeah, this one it's coming down, but it hasn't gone up over the top. So I'm going to clip it one more time and just encourage it to spill over the top of the bar. The reason that I'd like it to do that is just so it gets the support from the top bar and is not relying all its weight on just the clips. Where are you at? Yeah, I want you to do the same thing. Over the top. There we go. Okay, great. Cucumbers are done. Let's go on down to the zucchinis. And holy moly, we are in full production here. I think they like the feeding that we gave them a few weeks ago. Here we go. We can make zucchini bread and zucchini noodles. We can put them in other people's cars. Okay, we have a hatch. Here are the squash bug babies. And they too are going to go in the party jar, or I'm just going to squish them right here. Okay, so we're wanting to stop that. Just pull them off, put them in the party jar. There, they can entertain themselves in there. So what that means is that we missed a set of eggs. We'll just have to look a little closer. I did not ask my gal last week to be looking for eggs, and so we'll have a little catching up to do. But that's kind of the key to this, to keeping ahead of the squash bugs, is just to keep looking for the eggs, looking for the babies, looking for the adults, and just spending a little extra time with your plant. There's some eggs. If you are getting a lot of babies down on the bottom, you can use some diatomaceous earth. You can also use some pyrethrum. They're susceptible to pyrethrum. There's a couple babies right there. The adults are pretty hard to kill. The eggs, the sprays and stuff don't really work, but they're called nymphs. That's the baby stage. They're pretty susceptible to the pyrethrum and the diatomaceous earth. Okay, another zucchini. Okay, let's take a look at this one. So what happened here is the zucchini got good water here, and then it went through a drought, and that's why it's got this funny tip on it. It didn't fill out all the way. That's somebody missing watering or not watering enough. Still totally edible, but if your plants are looking like this, that means you either need to water twice a day, or you need to put more water on, or you need to get it mulched so that the plant has enough water to push this fruit complete to the end. Okay, let's go on around, look under these leaves. I'm starting to see a few earwigs. We can get them with a Sluggo Plus bait, which I might go get my bottle next week and we'll put some out. It'll work on earwigs and roly-polies. And it's actually kind of nice to get the populations of those down. I have seen a few roly-polies too. Okay, another zucchini. And we'll keep going around. Whoa. Come here, big guy. I have grown a baseball bat. Ha! Look at there. Guess we could play baseball with that. We actually tried that one time. And the zucchini exploded upon impact. It was actually quite hilarious. So if you get a big one, get a baseball, give it a whirl. This guy, zucchini bread, you just take it and grind the whole thing up. You can make zucchini bread, you can make zucchini relish. This one we could also shred and make the noodles out of it. So not to spare, if they get a little big, either play baseball, get some entertainment, or make some noodles or some bread. Actually, zucchini bread sounds really good right now. Okay, going on through. Another nice one here, not near as big. Okay, we have a lot of food this week. If you got extra food, learn how to preserve it. You know, get online, find a recipe. If you can boil water, you can preserve food. So it's not hard. You just have to get you some supplies and do it. There's another one. Good water, drought, good water again. So this is your indicator as to what's going on in your garden. Oh, there's a few eggs. Gosh, we're getting all kinds of things here today, aren't we? Getting eggs, getting zucchinis. Another zucchini. If you want to keep your zucchinis small, go ahead and harvest twice a week, which I think we'll start doing just to keep the size down. There's another spattering of eggs. Okay, right on through. Look at every leaf. You know, and it doesn't hurt to look at the stem too. That may be how we missed that other batch. They may have been on the stem. I have a really old leaf in here that's looking pretty cruddy. Take it out too. Okay, we've combed through this pretty good. Got some eggs, got some nymphs, got lots of food. The plants are looking good. I'm looking at the new growth. Getting lots of shiny new growth on here. This last week our night temperatures have been up, and that makes the plants grow just a little bit better. So I think we're done with the zucchini, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the broccoli next. Okay, here we are in the broccoli. This stuff is going bonkers. Look at it. I think it liked being fed the other day. If you don't want it flowering on you, pick it twice a week. This was my fault for not getting in here midweek. It was a little bit of a crazy week getting home from vacation and getting the other 20,000 square feet squared away. So this garden I didn't get to midweek, but I think we'll start that habit from here on out. Especially with a little bit warmer night temperatures, things are going to mature just a little bit faster. So as I'm going through the broccoli, I'm looking to see if it's been chewed up, what does the new growth look like, what does the old growth look like. So I'm just evaluating. So the observant gardener gets to eat more garden fresh vegetables. That's for sure. If you're starting to get a lot of chewing, go ahead and up your BT to twice a week. The worms, you know, they'll cycle faster as the night temperatures are warmer. But so far this is looking okay. There's a few holes, but it's under control. And there's a lot of broccoli. I'm excited. One of the favorite foods at our house. And if you got extra, just blanch it, throw it in the freezer. Of course, in a freezer bag. And then you can eat it later in the year. It's kind of fun. You can plant these once and just keep harvesting. Hello, dill. The dill is starting to mature. What I'm going to do with the dill is leave the tall stalks, and then I'm going to take these seed heads. You see the seeds are starting to come off of there. So we're starting to make pickles. The restaurant will use 500 quarts of pickles a year. But I'm going to take these seeds and put them back in the bed and let a second crop of dill come right up into the first crop of dill. So we'll still be harvesting the first one. Wave 2 will be coming. I think we're up to about 45 quarts of pickles so far for the restaurant. So we got a long ways to go. The pickled cucumbers back there, they're kicking it into gear. So we're probably pulling about 40 pounds a week right now off of those plants. The onions are looking good. First onion's about that big, but I don't want to harvest them yet. I want to save them until fall. Okay, there's our broccoli. Looky there. That's a lot of broccoli. It's good. That's 2 meals at least. Okay, next is the kale. And it's looking really good too. We're just going to come through here and get all these bigger leaves. They're good. Looking for bugs, looking for off color, anything that might be out of the ordinary. These things look spectacular, so I'm not going to worry about them at all. Because we're out here, you know, daily, just checking and looking and watering, so things won't get out of hand unless you're not being observant. Okay, here's our kale for the week. It did really, really well, and that's going to make a couple great meals. Now, we're going to do the joy choy again. Remember, we started some seed a few weeks ago, and I have this beautiful tray of seeds that have come up and made these joy choy plants. So we want to replant this section in the center here. I noticed that the squash is trying to grow over the top of it. It's going to be a battle to keep the squash on its side and to keep the Swiss chard and the joy choy uncovered with squash leaves, but that's a challenge we're going to take. So what we want to do here is let's get some of this mulch moved aside just a little bit. And then I think I just want to punch some holes in here about every 2 inches. And we get some plants planted. I love the joy choy. It's such great food. Matter of fact, I had some for breakfast this morning. Okay, so to transplant, we're going to lift from the bottom. I'm going to tear out a section. And we're just going to separate these guys. Now, the plant here, if you look in the center, this is the crown, this is the roots, and we got this big stem in the middle, and we can bury that entire stem. So I can just take this and very gently just poke that down in and bury that up to the top of that stem. And most plants are that way. They'll have the crown and then they have the root, and if you've got any stem in between the two, you can bury them. The further apart that we plant these, the larger the leaves are going to be, and the closer together we plant it, the smaller the leaves are going to be. So you can decide if you want more bigger leaves or if you want more smaller leaves just by how you're planting this. And I will keep this tray for another week in case some of these die. I don't expect 100% transplant. because that's just asking an awful lot of these little plants. But we'll do the best we can with them. And we'll actually be harvesting these, I would guess, within 2 to 3 weeks. So it's a pretty fast turnaround. Okay, we're going to get some on the edge here. I'm going to put 2 plants in each of the cinder block holes. Okay, we're going to come around and do the other side. Okay, first thing we're going to do is redirect the squash plant. Now we can either trim it off. Ooh, it's a long one. I'm going to put it up over the top. Just like that. And this is going to be a constant battle till the end of the season. It's just continually moving these plants off of our greens. And if you don't like it on there, you can just chop it off with the scissors. Like this one. Do I have my scissors? Yes. Okay. Take that off. Go back to transplanting. I think I will go mow the lawn a little bit later today and remulch this. If it's really, really hot, you may want to throw some shade cloth over these, a light towel or something, just to help them with the transplant. And I definitely will do that because I know this building's going to be really hot today. It'll be over 100 degrees in here, probably within the next couple hours. One of the things that we could do if we want these to be thicker is to plant like 2 at a time in the same hole as opposed to 1. And that will give us more smaller leaves. So that's an option as well, to multiple plant in the same hole. I'll do that at this end. So I got lots of plants. Okay, we got everything planted. What's the next thing we do? It's always water. And then I will get some shade cloth for this for the next 3 days. I'm going to keep it under shade, unless you got cloudy weather, but we don't have that very often. Okay, soak that in, cover it up, baby it a little bit, and it should take off for us. Okay, yay, a couple more weeks, we'll be back into Joy Choy. And next we're going to pick the Swiss chard. But one of the things I do want to do is continue to pull the squash off the top of it. So the squash, I planted it at the end of the bed so it can kind of take over the whole end down there. And so I'm not going to allow it to come this direction. I'm going to keep pushing everything that way. And this stuff has taken off. I think it likes the warmer nights. Okay, now I can find my Swiss chard. And we can get a good harvest in here. It's looking good. I'm still looking for bugs, not seeing any. I think it's liking the little bit of shade that it's getting off of the squash. Just keeping it a little cooler as the leaves are looking really good. And some more good food for the table. Okay, here's our Swiss chard for the week. That's just about right. That's a couple meals, so that'll be great. I'm over here now on the other side of the squash plants. And what I want to do here is just to get them going more vertical. I'm starting to see some fruits form, which is fun. And these guys are looking really good. So one of the nice things about being vertical is I can really quickly look for squash bug eggs, because I can look up underneath and see them. Okay, let's see. Where are you? Here you are. These things really grew in the last 2 weeks. And this is just going to become one great big jungle, and that's fine. And we just control the jungle with our clips and our scissors. and we just kind of keep it from growing over the top of everything else. If you want to, you can let it grow in your aisles, or you can just keep redirecting back into the bed. I do have a few growing this direction. I'm just going to wrap this around the bed. And I want to check for squash bugs. And like I say, it's a lot easier to see when they're hanging up in the air. Here's a top. Oh, there's some earwigs. Look at, see this little pile right here? Some earwigs. So I'm going to go get my Sluggo Plus. We'll bait that down at the bottom of the plants. And we'll see if we can slow down those earwigs a little bit. Okay. So you're going to have to spend a little more time. See, there's some eggs right there. Squash bug eggs. As the plant gets bigger, you're going to have to spend a little more time with it, but don't give up. Keep checking. You don't want to lose your crop to the squash bugs. And once in a while, we'll lose an entire plant. It does happen. But for the most part, we can control it just by being observant and picking off the eggs. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to go find my party jar, get rid of these, and then we'll take a look at the lettuce. Okay, here we are in the lettuce. This is our firecracker, and it's just starting to bloom. You can see these little yellow flowers here, and these are all flower buds. So what we're going to do is we're just going to let it bloom, and these will start maturing, and then we'll go ahead and when we think we got enough seeds, we'll go ahead and bag these off and then let them dry in a bag. They're looking great. They will keep blooming and blooming and blooming, so it's not like it's one covering. So like these ones that are open now, those will be the first seeds to mature, and then the next and next and next and next. So there'll be a continuous harvest of seed throughout the season here. So we're just going to leave this alone. It's doing great, and we'll let it do its thing. Okay, up here in the lettuce, now remember we skipped a week. We added a week in there. And as you can see, these lettuces are also wanting to do this same thing. This lettuce on a stalk like this is going to be bitter, so I am not going to save that to eat. But I'm going to go ahead and harvest through there. We're going to take this section out, reseed it, and then we're going to transplant some in the front section and get this thing going again. But we got good production on the other side, and that's the reason that we have 4 sections going, is because some is too young, some is too old, and some is just right, and we just keep that procession going the whole season. And that's the key piece that a lot of people miss, is not replanting and keeping it going. So first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and harvest, but I'm not going to harvest from these plants that are going to seed. So like I said, they'll be bitter. If you don't know if it's bitter or not, just taste it. Just pick a leaf off and try it. I've had enough experience that I don't want to do that, so I will harvest from the ones that are not doing it. Okay, here is our lettuce harvest for the week. I was really gentle through the ones that I considered the bitter older ones, and there's about 2.5 pounds, so that's plenty to eat and to share. So we'll set that in the shade here. Okay, now we are going to reseed this section and transplant that section. So I want to do the reseeding first because I want to be able to get the shade on the transplants as soon as possible. So the seeds, it doesn't matter because they're going to be underground. Oh, we got some nice roots here. So out these come. And I noticed that the next batch is starting to stretch a little bit, and that's because of that 1 week delay. So that'll be okay. We'll harvest them for a couple more weeks, and then we'll get that one out too. Also, as we're going through the peak of the sun in the summertime, and we start dropping down the other side, so after we get past the solstice for the summer and go down the other side, the plants are a little reactive to that, and they're like, oh my gosh, fall is coming, I need to make seeds. And that's what we're seeing in the lettuce, is it's just feeling that change in the light. And once in a while you'll lose a crop of lettuce to bolting just because it reacts really quickly to that light change, but this method keeps us on top of it pretty darn good. In the greenhouses, I have to plant extra crops to make sure that I have enough lettuce to get through that peak period. In the spring and the fall, the lettuce is just really steady on and does great, and then in the winter it grows really slow. And I think it's not just temperature, it's definitely has sunlight has something to do with it too. So it's a combination. Okay, these plants are about out. Look at this gorgeous soil we have here. Look at this. I just love it. Fill up those pockets again. Got some Happy Frog here. Fruit and flower fertilizer. I use it for everything because it complements my compost, which I also have here. I know that the compost is a little higher in nitrogen, so I want the fruit and flower, which is a little higher in potassium and phosphate. I did have somebody write in that their tomatoes were big and beautiful, but no fruit. And if that's the case for you, then more than likely you have too much nitrogen happening and you need more potassium and phosphate. So if you pick the fruit and flower blend higher in potassium and phosphate, you can offset some of the compost. Okay, we're just going to flatten that. We'll put a couple lines in. Our germination rate on the last batch was not that great, and that's due to the heat. And so we're going to put in a few extra seeds this time. I brought out an extra one to play with. This one is from Seed Savers Exchange. This is Grandpa Admire's lettuce, and this one is actually in the Ark of Taste. So if you go up to Slow Foods USA, they have a list of plants that are basically like endangered, but they feel that they have really good qualities and they taste really good and that we should pay attention to them. And so every year I like to plant something from the Ark of Taste and experiment with it. So this year we're planting Grandpa Admire's lettuce. It's a gorgeous lettuce and it definitely should be revised. I'm going to put in one more row. And I'm putting this in really thick today because of the heat. So yeah, go to the Slow Food USA website, go to their Ark of Taste section and look up some of the plants that are there, and then maybe next year get some seed and give it a try. And this is our last bag of firecracker. I still got a couple tablespoons in here. So we'll put in a row of firecracker. Tropicana. This is the one that's going to hold the best in the heat. We'll put in some of that. I want to put it in on the edges. And hopefully we're getting enough seed in that we can thin this. If not, go ahead and plant some in a little pot, grow it in the house so you can transplant. That's what I have for the other section here. Because we plant lettuce every single week here, I always have some that I can transplant in. This one is Blade. Sometimes we call this one Arrowhead. Okay. All right, lettuce is in. I'm going to cover this seed lightly. And I'm going to mow the lawn today. And I'm going to put some mulch on this. And then we're also going to have the shade cloth over it because of the new transplants. Okay, here's my seeds. Don't have to water this until I'm ready. Okay, up here in this section, I have brought out some extra of the Tropicana and our Arrowhead. But what I've noticed right here in the center of the bed is these are thistles coming up, just your regular purple-headed thistle. And what I want to do today is show you how to harvest them without getting poked. What we've learned is that you dig down the soil a little bit and grab right underneath in the roots, and there's no stickers down there. So see, I plucked it from right here, and I'm totally safe. Nothing's poking me. So if you have thistle and you want to harvest, or not harvest, let's not harvest these. I don't want to eat them. If you want to get them out without being poked, just go down below the soil level. Grab that root. There you go. Okay, thistles are out. I noticed one other weed right here. This is a cutleaf mallow, and we have them in the hay fields. Okay, that's gone. A couple little guys there. Now, let's see where we need some transplants. Look at the red. It came up beautifully. But the rest of these, not so much. I don't know what that is. I'm going to take it out. Okay, so I don't want the whole bed in red. Actually, I think I have plenty of red. So let's just put some in the end here. I'm going to take the leaves off that one. It looked a little tall. And I got some green here. So when they're this big, I want to go ahead and pinch those leaves off. Get that top and bottom balanced a little more and then stick them in. Okay, and this is my blade, I keep calling it blade. This is arrowhead. Blade and arrowhead look almost exactly alike, that's why I keep confusing them today. These are not too terribly tall. I could pinch the top off. I think they'll be all right. If I see them really wilting, then I'll come in and trim the top off. This is about as big as I would transplant without trimming the top. Okay. And then the rest of this we'll put in the green. And this is also from the greenhouse, like backup supply. Do you have roots? Yes, you do. Okay. Don't have roots, don't plant them. Sometimes they break off. Okay, those two look really good. Do we need any more? Just put that one back in. Okay, that looks really good. I do need to thin the red a little bit. I could put two up there. Okay, we want these about every 3 inches, so if I leave these too tight, I'm not going to get good production. Remember, the tighter the plants are, the smaller the leaves. So on my lettuce, I don't want that small of leaves. So we spread them out. We do that by thinning or transplanting. Okay, that looks pretty good. Not perfect, but good enough. Okay, so the next thing we gotta do is we gotta water this. And then we're gonna get the cover on. Then I'm gonna go get a cover and cover those choy choys. And this cover, if you leave it on all season, especially through the heat of the summer, you're going to help keep the plants from bolting so much. It just cuts that light a little bit. Okay, there you go. All right, we are done with the garden. Let's go take a look at the harvest. It's a big one today. Oh, the carrots. I totally forgot about the carrots. They're easy to forget about because there's not a whole lot to do with them, but you know what? I harvested a lot, took them on my trip. My family loved them. They're like, where'd you get these carrots? It's like, well, you got to grow them. And they munched them all down. They were terrific. Carrots don't need anything today, so I'm not going to harvest any today, let them grow a little bit. So we're done with the carrots too, done with the garden. We're going to look at the harvest. Okay, here's what our harvest was this week. For our kale, it was 0.97 pounds, so almost a pound. Swiss chard, 0.75 pounds. The broccoli, there was 1.7 pounds. That's really good for these plants that are so old, but they just keep kicking it out. It's fantastic. The shigaiku, there was an entire pound of that. So I'm going to find a friend and share that one and share some stories. Cabbage, 1.75 pounds. The zucchini, 6.75 pounds. The lettuce, there was 2 pounds there. The cucumbers, 11.46 pounds. And this is where these cucumbers should be. So we got them cranking and rolling now, which I'm really glad that we could pull them out of their little stupor. Tomatoes, 5.2 pounds. So our savings this week was $106.04. And our year-to-date savings is $1,641.35. So this garden's really starting to rock it out, and I love to eat all the stuff that comes out of this. So gardens give us more than just amazing food, and the 21st gift that my garden gives me is tranquility. When I've had a day that doesn't go very well and I'm upset or I'm frustrated, I can go and sit in my garden and feel the peace and the tranquility that the garden provides for me. It's a place to escape, if only just for a few minutes. Tranquility is not a common commodity that you can get at the store. So if you would like to see this garden in person and you would like to feel the tranquility, I invite you to come and visit. We are open for tours Thursday through Sunday from 1 to 6 in the afternoons. And we're open May through October. If you need some details, go to our website, thelivingfarm.org, and you can get details or ask questions there. If you would like to eat at the Farm to Table Cafe, you can check out the menu at thelivingfarmcafe.com. So until next time, may your garden be easy, fun, productive, tranquil, and always organic.